look at this example. So given that given that this is already in the form of a single trigonometric function, right? The subtraction become a single trigonometric function. Okay. So now the question asking you to find the maximum value, right? Let's say given fx to be 6 minus 3 sine x plus with 4 cos x here. So what is the maximum value? Maximum value of fx. What is the maximum value? And what is the minimum value here? Right? Minimum value of fx. So very simple here. So means that it's already, you know that this will be you can rewrite this one in the form of a single trigonometric function, right? So then you look at this function here. So you can rewrite the fx to be 6. You can factorize the negative. As you see, this is positive, this is negative, right? And here is negative, here is positive. You can factorize the negative, then you will have 3 sine x minus with 4 cos x, right? As you see that negative 3 sine x, negative, negative, positive 4 cos x. So then you can rewrite your fx, means therefore you can rewrite your fx in the form of 6 minus with this whole thing here you can rewrite as single trigonometric function here. So which will be 5 sine x minus with 53.1 degree. So when you're writing these two function, you have sine, you have cos. The combination of this you have in a single trigonometric function here, and you must using this is only have sine, right? Here you have cos, have sine, so it's very hard for you to determine maximum or minimum. So but now you have rewrite this in the form of sine x minus 53.1 degree here. So with this single trigonometric function here, you can find the maximum and minimum value here. As you know that sine x minus 53.1 degree. So no matter what happened inside here, minus 2x, 3x, the maximum value will be always 1 and minimum always negative 1 here, right? So now means that there is this is maximum when sine, this whole thing is 1. It's minimum when this is negative 1, right? This is minimum when this whole thing will be minimum negative 1, maximum 1. So now to find the maximum value of fx, your fx is this one, right? This is your, so try to consider these two values here. So if you're using this method, this will be easier. So you consider these two values here. So if you put a negative value here, right? If you put a negative value here, so it means that when this is a negative 1, right? Negative 1. So what you are getting? You are 6 minus with 5 negative 1. You are getting 11, right? 11. So what if you substitute with 1? Substitute with 1. So 6 minus 5 times 1, right? You are getting 1. Now you have very clear. You can see that either you substitute negative 1 and 1, these two values, to decide positive and negative. So the bigger value will be your maximum value. So you're just writing out that 6 negative 5 negative 1 means this thing will be negative, will be maximum when the sign here will be negative, right? Because the negative and this negative will become positive. So add up with 6, you are getting bigger value. But when this is positive, you have to 6 minus with 5, which you getting a smaller number here. So it means that the maximum value here will be 6 minus negative 5 times 1. You have 11, and here will be 6 minus 5 times with 1. When sine x minus 53.1 equals to 1, it will become minimum. But when sine x minus 53.1 equals to negative 1, when you choose negative 1, it turned out to be maximum value, right? Which is 11, and you are getting 1 here. So it means that the maximum will be 11 and the minimum value for this case will be 1. Alright, this is the first the first method. There is another method of finding maximum and minimum. So if you are very good in mathematics, you can try to consider this method here. So now Alright, this is the first one. So now I show you another one here, right? So, for example, alright, so you know that this is another method number 2, alright? Method 2. Method 1 is simple, you have just substitute the value of -1 and 1, right? So, but mathematically, this one is more concepts, okay? Because you know that this one is 1 and between -1, right? So then you construct the inequality here. So you see that there is a -5 here, right? So you multiply with -5. So when you multiply with -5, the sign will change. As this one will become -5, and this one -1 multiplied negative become 5. 5 is greater than -5. So I rewrite this whole thing will be -5 sine x minus 53.1 degree. So it will be -5. I rewrite this whole thing here. So maximum will be 5, minimum will be -5. But there is a 6 here, means you plus 6, right? So you plus 6. This is more conceptual understanding. So you plus with 6 means -5 plus 6. And this one also you plus 6. Then now you can clearly see that the upper limit means at most it will be 11. Minimum it will be 1, right? So means that this is your maximum value. This is your maximum value. And this will be your minimum value. You are getting exactly the same thing here. So, alright, so this is 2 techniques that you can apply to finding the maximum and minimum value. So now I'm going to answer the question. The question said, what value of x? So the question asking about determine the values of x, for x between 0 and 360 degree, include 0 and 360 degree. So what is the value of x that this function will become maximum, right? So let's see. Alright, so the question, you try to read the question carefully. They said, find the value of x such that this function fx is maximum, right? This is maximum. You're getting maximum when you're getting -1 here, right? So means that fx is maximum. Maximum here means the value of 11 here. When this number here, right? Everything, this maximum or minimum is decided by this number here, right? So it's decided by this number. So means that it's maximum when sine x minus 53.1 degree equals to -1. That's a very important, right? That's very important. So now you know that it's between this, you're getting -1, right? Sine of this one, you're getting -1 here. So for the range, so what is the value? The question asking, what is the value of x, right? Within here, such that this fx become maximum. So maximum means this one is -1, right? For the cases here, right? Alright, so now you have sine x minus 53.1 degree equals to -1 here. So you have to modify the range here such that it become x 53.1 degree. So it's maximum when this one, I consider maximum first, later I consider minimum. So it will be minimum, you can accept 53.1 degree, and maximum, you take 360, minus 53.1, right? Minus 53.1, which give you 306.9 degree. So this is a reference. It's a reference to solve this, this equation here. So sine theta is -1. Again, if -1, 0 and 1, we're using graph, right? You know that sine will be -1. Okay, this is the, sorry. The graph for sine will be looking like this way, right? So you have 0, 90, 270. This is your 180, 360. 60. So this is 1, right? 1. So means that -1, right? -1. So means sine of an angle is -1 when it is 270. Alright? So means that therefore x minus 53.1 degree is 270 degree, right? There are no other value here. There are no other value here. Up to this range, from this range up to this range, there are no value here, because you see that if you go backward also, -1, okay, 90, -90. Sine -90 is also -1. Sine -90 is also -1. Sine 270 also -1. But the problem is -90 is not in the range, it's outside the range. So there's only one value here. So you have x equals to 270 plus with 53.1, right? 53.1. So you have 323.1 degree. So means when x equals to 323.1 degree, fx is maximum with value of 11, right? So this is the only value that can causing this function to become maximum. That's the value here. So now again, I'm going to find the value of x such that the fx become minimum. Right? Let's continue. Find the value of x such that fx is minimum. Means you're getting the value of 1 here. So when this thing become 1, so fx is minimum. Is minimum when you always refer to this one, right? So this is the value that causing it to be maximum. Then you take this function here to be equals to that value. So now it's minimum. Now it's minimum. Means when you put 1, you're getting minimum. So means that sine x when sine x minus 53.1 degree is equals to 1. It's minimum when this one is 1. So again, I have to using the graphical. So you have you know that 90, right? Sine 90 will be 1, right? Sine 90 is 1. So other than that, 0, sine 0 is 0, 0 is -1, right? So if you keep drawing also, so it's only reach -270. You are getting 1, right? So beside that, only 90 is getting 1, no other value, right? So it means that in this region, there is only 90 degree, you're getting 1. And this is -270, but -270 is out from the range here. So then you know that x minus 53.1 degree have to be 90 degree. So you have x equals to 90 plus 53.1. So you have 143.1 degree. So within this range, so there is only 90 that can causing this function to be minimum, right? So so now you know that when x is 143.1, fx is minimum. All right. So that's all for this question. You have already answered that question.